What's up, y'all? It's Petey Racks on Life After Lockdown. I got a great story. Well, it's not great for me, but it's great for you guys to hear of the stuff that goes on, man. Anyway, see that bus behind you? That's called U.S. Prisoner Transport Bus. Now, if you go back to the videos, I only got like 5 or 6 of them right now. The channel only started 2 weeks ago, so if you go back to my original story of my story. I think I talked about I lived in Florida, or I've been locked up in Tampa, Florida before, right? So I lived there from 03 to 05, only 2 years. Me, my baby mom, she was my baby mom yet. Once I had my son in Florida, then that was that. But so once we had my son, he was about 3 months old, we moved back. So when we moved back, before we moved back, I called a charge, right? I called a charge that was my bad. Still working it. See, still tweaking stuff out. Anyway, I called a fraud charge. I was making scripts, right? Making scripts on my computer. I had a special printer. I had all that stuff, right? So I got called. I pulled up in the pharmacy one day, and this is after I got called for one script. So they surrounded me in the police station and shit, or the police surrounded me in the drive-thru of the Walgreens, right? They didn't catch me for the other 300 and something prescriptions I wrote during a whole 6 months straight. Perks, 30s, 15s, all that stuff. And they look professional. So a 16-year-old, I guess a young pharmacy girl, didn't think it looked real. So she must have called a man. She was like, hold on. And I was getting kind of like, damn, this takes kind of long. Usually it only takes like, after I drop it off, it only takes about a half hour, 45 minutes at this Walgreens. But I used to jump Walgreens, and they had me in the system. And I wasn't dumb. I did other pharmacies. This is before they had that pill, United States prescription system, where they could tell every state what you get through insurance and all that. You can't pay cash and all that stuff. So, but anyway, Florida was wide open. I hear a lot of stories that Florida's still wide open with that. But anyway, so I move the mic a little closer. There we go. So anyway, I got caught. I got a lawyer and everything, and I was fighting the case and shit like that, right? So as I was fighting the case, we moved back. I said, man, that's what they say about Florida. When you go on vacation, you leave on probation. That's real. So I said to my baby's moms, my son was 3 months old, let's get out of here. Plus, he ain't gonna know no family. We ain't got no family or friends down here. Let's go back up north. Let's go to Maryland. You know what I mean? We don't got to go to Delaware, be around all that drama and drugs and all that have you, right? So for 2 years, I'm fighting extradition. I have these court dates and all that. So they put a warrant on me because I didn't go to these court dates, right? So what happened was, for 2 years, I was fighting it. Then they sent me a letter. But during these 2 years, I lived in Earlville, Maryland, around Seaston, Earlville area. And every time I would get caught, I would go to a jail called CCDC in Elkton, Maryland. It was a jail in Cecil County. You know, Maryland has a lot of counties. So this is the last county before Delaware. It's right across the line. Elkton, Maryland, Newark, they're basically attached. They're right there next to each other. So if you're my subscribers from the tri-state area, you know this. Or from Delaware, Maryland, you already know this. So I was fighting this. And so every time I'd get caught and go to CCDC, I had to pay a bail. The first one was like $10,000 secure. I knew all the bail bondsmen in there. So I knew all them up in there, all the bail bonds in Cecil County. So I would get like, as always, 1%, 3% on the regular, right? because they know I was breadwinner. This is the time I was selling pills and stuff like that. That's one reason I want to get back up top, because I couldn't really get a job. I still had all these felonies from Delaware and stuff like that. I only had Delaware felonies since then, convictions and non-convictions, right? So I was like, man, I can't really get a job paying out. The rent don't even out. Yeah, rent's cheaper and all that stuff. So I kept fighting these extraditions. First one was like 10,000, then it went to 9, 8, 7, 6, all the way down to it was like till they released me on own reconnaissance, OR they call it. So, and check this out. I lived to 2 cops that was my neighbors, and these 2 cops were infamous, ignorant cops, like do dirty shit, like plant drugs and all that. They're known throughout Cecil County. Didn't notice they were my neighbors. I cut grass every day on my riding mower, my John Deere riding mower. We had a nice house for rent. I had a boat. I had a BMW. My baby's mom had a brand new Chrysler minivan for the kids, all with me hustling. You know what I mean? Selling bucket loads of pills and stuff. So, like I said, I ain't glamorizing, but it's just what it is. What it is. It's the truth. But so as I was fighting all these extraditions, I finally got this court date, or it's not a court date. I didn't have to show up to this, but it said a paper saying show up to Annapolis, Maryland to we'll give you enough time so they don't sick the sheriffs on me and lock me up. When Florida finally gets, when I say fighting extradition, I'm fighting Florida's charge, their felony for forgery, possession of a controlled substance, even though I didn't even get it through the pharmacy, just had the paper, the fake script. That's what they charge you with. Even though you don't have the pills on it, they still charge you with it, right? So I got invited from like the governor's assistant of the state. So, and they said, how much time do you need to get your affairs in order? I said, give me 30 days. I didn't think they'd give me 30 days. I thought they'd give me like a week. They were saying, all right, we'll give you 30 days, because I brought my kids in with me. And they were like, oh, what's their age and stuff like that? So I played it all out on purpose so they would feel a little bit bad and give me a little bit more time, you know what I mean, to come knocking on my door. And then the search begins. Maryland handing Florida over, them handing me over to Florida, right? So when that time was up, guess who comes knocking on my door? The same neighbor, state police. That was my neighbor. I waved every day, or every other time I cut my grass. We waved, he waved while he was on his riding mower or getting out and, locking his doors and checking out putting all his stuff in his shed, all his weapons and all that stuff. Forget his name, but I have the names of both the officers. And his other buddy lived like 2 neighborhoods behind. It was a beautiful beach area, Crystal Beach and all that, where the beach is and stuff like that. You could walk, I don't know, probably 5 minutes and the beach was right there. Like a beachfront house we had. And so anyway, here he comes, he knocks on my door, because he knocked on it before 2 other times. I was like, yeah, okay, we got to take me in again, because after you pay this bail, after I got a CCDC jail in Elkton, Maryland, once you pay the bail, you could literally get out the jail, go drive down. You could get in your car, or obviously people picking you up, right? People pick you up, and once you hit a legal road out of the jail property, off the jail property, they could pull you over again and then put you back in jail and make you pay another bail. But I worn that out at least 8 to 10 times, so my bail was 0. So they weren't doing that at that time, but they did it to me 2 times. I bailed out, and they got me literally 2 blocks away, man, just on purpose. You know what I mean? Because they know I was a pill pusher. They couldn't get me for all that. They called me a kingpin pill seller when they finally caught me, and that's a different story. I'll tell my part 2 story of my life in Elkton, Maryland, when I got knocked, and I went through the Maryland DOC system. But anyway, so here he comes knocking on the door the 3rd time. I was like, they OR'd me, bro, last time. And he was like, Pete. And he held up the paper, right? He was like this. They got the governor warrant. I said, they got the governor's warrant ready? I was like, man, 30 days? It wasn't 30 days. It was 2 weeks and 3 days. So they lied to me. It wasn't even 30 days they gave me. So the assistant to the governor, assistant governor, lied to me. She didn't give me 30 days. It was a woman. The governor was a man, right? I think it was Governor Christ. Or was that Florida? One of them. Whatever it was, whoever the governor was back in 2008. This is when it happened. And then we'll get to this vehicle back here. So anyway, he says, yeah, Pete, Peter, that's my real name, Peter. I'm Petey Rax, but my real government name's Peter, right? Peter, we got you this time. I mean, we. Man, we talk and all that, we all good. He said, I know, I got a job to do. I said, I realize that. So I told my baby's mom all the instructions what to do. Hide this, hide that. I'll be right back. She's like, right back? You're going to Florida. I said, I know, but, I don't know what's going to happen in Florida. I've never been extradited before, right? But I was fighting it for a good 2 years. Probably about 18 months to 2 years. Yeah, about 18 months probably. So I get to CCDC. I got an option again to fight it. I didn't fight it this time because there was no sense, because they were just going to knock on my door, do it all over again. So I didn't fight it. Gave them legally, they're allowed, 72 hours, 3 days to pick me up from CCDC, or I walk right out the jail. They gotta bag and baggage me and release me right from jail. So I sat there, man, it was like 70 hours, right? I had like 2 hours left. I said, and everybody, the inmates and shit like that, some of my homeboys, they were like, man, they ain't coming to get you. You're walking out again. I was like, man, but I want to get this shit over with. You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking. But I was also when I was talking about selling the pills, I was also doing these pills, the Oxys, the Roxys, all that shit, Xanax. So I was withdrawing in there. But because when the cop can show me the paper of the governor's warrant, when they finally got it, I didn't have enough time. I opened the door, just thought it was like bullshit. I didn't have enough time to, you know what I mean, be well in there. So, man, they came a half hour before the 72 hours expired. Okay. So now a guy comes in. There's 4 guys that work shift on this bus right here. Okay. On that bus right there. There's a bunk. There's 2 bunks, one on top of each other with TVs and everything, with little radios, headphones. They're comfy in there. They take shifts. These prison. It's called the United States Prisoner Transport. This one just came from LA. It's based in LA, but they just came from Miami they picked up somebody in LA, then they went to Miami. Their job, that truck job, is to pick up people that whoever in their computer system, as they're looking at it, look up whoever has governor warrants. And if they're going past each state, they'll calculate in their head, we got 4 hours to pick him up, or he'll be released from that jail. Each state probably has probably 72 hours each state. I doubt it. They probably have different times. Some are a week, some are 2 weeks, but Maryland, 72 hours. So that's what they do. They pick up people with governor's warrant like me. So this guy said, one guy from the bus comes into jail as I'm being handcuffed. I'm being handcuffed like you go to court. You're shackled, your feet are shackled, so you can only spread them out normally. And your handcuffs got you're wasted, chains around the waist, and you got the box on your wrists. Full going to court geared down, right? Inside the bus. So before I get to that, he's asking me what I'm allergic to, blah, 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 and that, because they have to feed you. They have to feed you and all that stuff. They have a debit card which they're supposed to feed the inmates with, not themselves. Not themselves. They're supposed to feed the inmates that's on that bus. Okay? Keep that in mind as I'm telling you the story. So we go all over that. I get on the bus. There's only 2 people on the bus. There's one guy from Miami. They're deporting back to Mexico. Can't talk English. He's quiet. And the bus is sectioned off. When you first go in, you see the bunks, the 2 bunks to your right-hand side. You go up them doors right there. And you see the 2 bunks on your right with curtains. Okay? So the other 2 guys were sleeping. The other 2 guys were on shift. One was in the passenger seat front. One was in the driver. The driver drives, the passenger, CO, correctional officer, whatever, and they work for the government. So these are government workers. They ain't for a certain state or nothing like that. They work for the United States government. And there's a lane down the middle. So there's cages sectioned off. The first 2 sections are for women. The last 3 sections are for men. I was in the very back. They asked me what section you want to be. I said, I'll be in the back. And then there's a toilet, only a toilet, no sink, no nothing, right? So, and the toilet was empty and all that. Keep that in mind. Everything was clean and everything before we started with these 2 guys. And there was another mixed black cat from L.A. Remember, I said they started off picking up people, but governors weren't from L.A. His name was Daryl. I remember him because me and him was talking the whole time. Got close. I got his number after he got dropped off at the feds and somewhere in Chicago, right? Maybe because we stopped at Cook County Jail, the infamous Cook County Jail in Chicago. We stopped there to pick up people and then drop them off at certain other places in Illinois or next door or Tennessee and Kentucky. So he got dropped off at a sweet ass federal brand new building, man. I was jealous as hell. I was like, man. So anyway, I'm on there. 2 other guys are on there. We start heading north. We pick up somebody, 2 people in PA. Then we're just heading up. We're heading up north all the way to Maine, dog. We're picking people up in every damn borough of New York City. Every borough of New York City, we're picking people up. Then I'm in Connecticut, Boston, went to town, places I've never even been before. But I'm seeing through these little windows. See that very back one right there? In my head. That one right there, that's the window I was chained to and could look at. So luckily, I was right next to the window. That's why I wanted it right there in the back. But there's seats here too, with that are just 3 seats in the very back, and the bathroom is right there under this little blue label. The bathroom is right there, floor size. So anyway, so we go all the way up north to even Maine. So in Maine, I was like, damn, I seen all the fishing boats, all the big boats with the sailboats, like all the boats you see, like Forrest Gump type shit. I'm like, damn, it's pretty cool that I'm seeing this, but it's unfortunate that I'm locked up. So remember, I was only in the jail for 71 and a half hours, and I'm starting to withdraw really bad, man. So I'm getting really ill on this bus. Don't mean to be graphic. I'm starting to get the runs, all that shit. So I told him, even the guy, asked me what I'm allergic to, had the list and everything, my health issues and what medication I'm on, blah, blah, blah. I told him, yo, you guys need ammonia for me, man. Not ammonia, Imodium, Imodium AD. I said, man, because listen, I'm telling you right now, I'm withdrawing off these pills, I'm withdrawing off Xanax, I'm withdrawing off painkillers, man. I'm gonna be in bad shape, man. How long is this ride gonna take? He said, just a few days. A few days, my ass. Let me get back to that. So we hit Maine. We go all the way to Maine, picking people up with governor's warrant. But when we go to PA and all the boroughs, we're picking people up, dropping them off at, somebody wanted in New York from PA, they pick them up in New York, drop back off PA, back and forth to all these different states on the East Coast. Then we start heading west to Michigan, Michigan, and then Illinois. Illinois was the farthest west we went. So this is when we hit the but in this meantime, we have to go bathroom on the bus. So these guards are so ignorant, bro, that when you say you have to go to bathroom, tell them an hour and a half, at least an hour and a half to 2 hours advance that you got to go to bathroom. Because if you got to pee, that's all right. Because check this out. Remember I told you had to use a debit card to feed just the inmates, and they got to pay for their own food out of their own pocket. They weren't doing that, right? So only thing they fed us was fast food. It was only McDonald's dollar menu when they had the dollar menu back then. And so we would only get $2 cheeseburgers, double cheeseburgers, whatever. Well, I only eat plain stuff. I don't eat ketchup, mayonnaise, mustard on none of that. I don't eat no condiments, plain meat and cheese. I know people be saying, "Hey, your burgers be dry and all that." I'm like, it ain't dry. Cheese keeps it moist. So I'm getting plain stuff, but it took me. I'm sick though, right? So I really can't eat. But they didn't get it until the second day. I was like, yo, man, this shit is not plain. So I was giving it to other people. I wasn't going to eat that shit. I could barely eat it as, but at least if they had it the way I wanted it, plain cheeseburgers, and the guard was like, oh, you're special treatment. I was like, nah, man. I told him I was allergic to mustard and shit. You know what I mean? I'm not allergic to this shit. I just don't like none of it since I was a kid. I'm plain. I've always been plain. Now my little brother is, my son is, but I wasn't like that when we were kids. Like from 10 years old to 12, we changed. We all ate plain. It's very weird, man. We're all plain. My brothers, except my sister, my little brother and my son, who is 15, my brother that's 30, we eat plain food. Anyway, so I wasn't get the proper food that I needed to eat. You know what I mean? And I need it for strength too, man. You know what I mean? So my stomach can start cycling. I know McDonald's ain't healthy, but it was only McDonald's for the first 5 days. Remember they said they only be 3 days? We're on our 5th day. By the time we hit Chicago, Illinois, the state of Illinois, dropping people off again, taking them back to Michigan, then going back to Illinois, and then all that stuff. So first 2 days I didn't eat. I had to make more runs. I was like, yo, you don't stop this thing, I'm going to shit here right on this floor. You know what I mean? And I'm going to throw that shit at you, dog. They was like, you do that, you're going to get maced and beaten. So, but they stopped. You know what I mean? And a lot of stops, people had to use the bathroom, and they didn't like stopping to let people use the bathroom because they get paid on time. The faster they pick up people with governor's warrant and dropping them off at the states that want them, the more money they get. So they're on a time limit, just like truckers are, right? When they deliver goods, 18-wheelers. Same thing with this. They're moving cattle. We're numbers, right? They don't call you by your name on that bus. They call you by your number. So we go back and forth to each state. Now we're in Midwest Chicago. But while we were in New York, this was when Orange County Choppers, remember that TV show with the son and dad always fighting? They went to their new shop. Okay, the shop also, yeah, I thought they had a restaurant, but right next to that restaurant, maybe 2 miles down the street was Texas Roadhouse, I believe, or it could have been Lone Star. Either way, it was a steakhouse. Yo, and this was about 7 p.m. They were like, they were talking amongst themselves, making a pit stop. Everybody was like, fuck no, man. Y'all for real? So they already stopped at OCC's new shop, that brand new shop you seen on the TV show. Going there, looking around the bikes and shit. Luckily, that we were bragging and laughing because none of the famous people were there. It was just normal people. They were taking pictures of the famous bikes and all that shit that were there on the show. But mainly it was a t-shirt shop and apparel clothing store, you know what I mean? And the bikes were shot, and they fixed the bikes in the back. You couldn't see where they make the show at. So we were like, you know what I mean? But they kept us in there for an hour and a half sitting there, dog. You know what I mean? This was in April, and it was ice cold, the beginning of April, and it was still like Man, it was like 45. The warmest it was like 52 degrees the beginning of April. April 3rd, they picked me up, right? 450. And I didn't get dropped off until the 11th, April 11th, when I finally hit my destination in Tampa, Florida, the state that had the governor's warrant for me. That's right. You heard it. 8 days on that fucking bus. Looking out the window, wishing, damn, I wish I could have visited these places without being in this damn bus. Nobody left the bus. The only time we left the bus was when we went to Cook County Jail. That's why I mentioned Cook County Jail. They let us use the bathrooms and we spent maybe 4 hours there in the cells while we were cleaning the bus, bullshitting with Cook County Jail people, because all the jails and prisons know this place, because they come by maybe once a month, scoop up people, so they apparently know them. And one guy's been on job. They're all Cuban too. It's weird. They're all from Miami. Every one of them was from Miami, right? This truck was based in LA, but they originally drive the truck that's from Miami. So they're all Cuban except one mixed black dude, CO. Check this shit out. They're all talking Spanish. He can't talk like a Spanish, right? The black mixed dude, light-skinned dude, right? And so we're in Chicago. We get out of Cook County Jail. They're all the inmates, of course, are talking shit. Yeah, y'all motherfuckers. I know y'all holding that, give us some of them drugs, like asking for drugs and stuff like that, which of course, a lot of people didn't have, but somebody had a piece of some boxing on them. So give me a little something that held me over for probably about 2 days. Not held me over, but made me stop having the squirts. I ain't going front. I mean, shit, I don't throw up when I withdraw. I get the squirts and I'm weak. Check it out. So now, as we leave Cook County, we drop Dara off, the last person I really know on there. By this time, the bus is about 95% packed. This bus could hold probably about 35 people. Believe it or not, that could hold about 30 to 35 people. All the women's seats were taken, all the men's, right? Stinking, smelling. And when we told them we have to use the bathroom, and they were like, number 1 or number 2, they had a little speaker thing. And each section of the gating had DVD players. So sometimes they would play movies if everybody behaved and was quiet and didn't make threats and shit like that. Then they would play movies on a DVD player, but nobody really gave a fuck about that. I mean, yeah, some people did, because we were 8 days on this bus. So a guy had a DVD collection in his little DVD book, and he'd say, yo, I want to watch this and this and this. We watched Roscoe's Vacation with Martin Lawrence and the big dude from the Green Mile, that movie. I remember that vividly. People watched that 3 or 4 times. They wanted to play that. There was only like 4 DVDs we could watch. So everybody was happy to watch that. It passed sometime my mind from being sick, get my mind off of being sick. I was the only person coming off of there. So it took them the 3rd day of me threatening them, yo, get Imodium AD, man. I'm telling you right now, it'll be easier for you, easier for me. I won't be talking shit. I was mostly one talking shit on there, kicking the gates, all whatever I can bump into the gates, because you're handcuffed like you're going to court. And they finally got it for me. So I finally, after about 4 or 5 hours of taking it, I was good. But everybody remember I told you that we just McDonald's. Well, I said when they took another pit stop to go eat, when they took that pit stop to eat at Lone Star Steakhouse, the whole bus was furious, as you can imagine. We could literally look and see them through the window as if they purposely got a window seat booth so we could see them eat delicious steak and meals and shit. And they used the card because they were discussing it quietly, and they were like, well, we're gonna, that could be deducted. They're talking about how certain funds could be deducted off of it, and it'll be all right. They won't get no slack. They won't catch no slack for the shit. And we're like, motherfucker, we know that card is for us. You're supposed to be feeding us better. We're eating the same bullshit cheeseburger. And they were like, well, what do you prefer then? 5, 10 value meals? They were like, hell yeah. It's a fucking U.S. government, man. You got a debit card. There's got to be thousands of dollars on there, or maybe unlimited to feed the inmates, man. Come on, man. Remember, one guy was 15 years there. One guy was another 12 years, the Cuban, and another one was there for like only 3 or 4 years. He was the newbie. But the black dude, the mixed dude, he was and he had brown eyes, man. He was like, you know what I mean? It was just maybe Egyptian and black, something like that, but he was the coolest one. He was a real like street dude, man. And he was from somewhere in somewhere near Boston area. You know what I mean? Somewhere around that area. So anyway, he didn't really get along. We could see that there was tension with him and the other guys because they were all fat. And of course, that's all they do is for a living is drive around in a bus fat, just like COs are fat. He wasn't fat. He was, he was cock diesel. He was healthy and all that. And every time they would say something, he would roll his eyes or come walk down the lane and talk to us inmates. And then they would be like, mira, like he can understand it, which he couldn't. And they were like, he was like, all right, man, go ahead, go on. So he was actually getting tired of his job. This was his first week on the job. First week for this mixed dude, right? Damn, I forget his name, man. If I had got his number, he was so cool, man. So anyway, we're leaving Cook County. Now we're going down to Southern Illinois. Was it Kentucky, right? I may get my states messed up. Kentucky, then Tennessee. I seen the Smoky Mountains. Beautiful, right? We're on the highway, still picking people up and all that. So the goal was, after they got everybody rounded up, was picking people up, dropping them off at different states, all the states I told you, up the East Coast, then all the way to Illinois, back down to Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, and then finally the Panhandle was the first Florida they touched down at. But everybody on that bus by that time, it was fully packed, couldn't fit one more person. And so it was like 30 to 35 people. I think it holds 30, maybe. I think there was extra 5 seats on the side, but they had it packed though. And everybody was pissing inside of water bottles. The only thing we drank was water. And remember I forget what brand it was, but the spring water said Lifestyle on it. Pure Light Lifestyle. That's that water. They had cases of it in the sides right there at the bus. Right there on the side, like the storage bins right down there on the trim of it. So they had cases of water. They never ran out of that. So we had water with cheeseburgers. That's it. And remember I mentioned that he said, all right, what would you like to eat? I said, yo, at least if you're going to spend $2 on each inmate 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, switch it up. There's other fast food restaurants you can stop at McDonald's. We're McDonald's out, bro. We're cheeseburgered out, man. What do you? All right, Sakurda. They call me by my, my last name, whatever. What do you suggest? I said, Taco Bell got those cheesy burritos. Remember cheesy burritos for $1.99 burritos? Those big joints. He was like, all right, we'll try it. And everybody was like, yeah, damn right, Petey. Changed up the menu. Change it up, you know what I mean? I was like, we'll try, do it for, one full day. We'll see how it is. And I said, well, Burger King is different too. That's the type of cheeseburger. We'll switch it. We'll see. So we never got the Burger King, but I eventually talked them in, me personally, talked them into getting these cheesy burritos. And so by about 5 hours later, when it's dark outside, remember it's dark. Now it's dark and it's cold as it stayed cold the whole damn time. The whole damn time in April, it was freezing on that bus. And I'm still sick. By the 5th day, everybody was chafing. All the men. The women were like, oh my God, my leg. Some were crying and tearing. We're like, yeah, shouting out to the women, the men, make them feel better. It's all right, baby girls. Just hold tight. It can't be that much longer. We're in Tennessee now. And Tennessee, they dropped off two other more people. So they're, doing the same shit back and forth. They were like, yo, just get us to fucking Florida. Everybody on the bus was wanted in Florida. That's how they did it. So they do one dump at Florida at the end of all of us in different parts of Florida. Florida's a big fucking state though, right? So like I said, they drop off at the Panhandle. But by the time we got to like Kentucky, Tennessee, all the men were chafing. Red between, I don't mean to get graphic, between our crotch areas was sore and red. It was so bad. Our armpits under there were all sore. Rashes, pure rashes. Inhumane shit. Because we were never unhandcuffed. The only time they unhandcuff us, they go number 1 or number 2 in the bathroom back there, was they only uncuffed one wrist. Go in the bathroom. So you had to wipe your ass somehow. They would never undo both wrists. Never. I got them to do it one time because I told him, I said, listen, man, I got to, me, my situation is shit runs downhill, man. You know what I mean? Because I was, even with the MD day, it just slowed it down. It didn't stop it. He was like, all right, I'm going to trust you. That was the black dude. The 3 Cuban dudes, they were all Cuban. They weren't Puerto Rican or nothing. Knew this for a fact because 8 days knowing all these people. But I only got a chance to meet 5 or 6 people real close because they were heading to Florida too. The Florida people that are going back to Florida wanted with me. So I only got to know about 5 to 6 people. And a couple of Mexicans who couldn't speak English, but they were laughing and shit. My jokes, like, they can understand. They just act like they can't understand. They act stupid when the COs come and they're, no sé, me no speaking English. Right? So we finally get to Florida. Man, everybody's chafing, everything. We get to the Panhandle. So when I finally got to my jail in Tampa, you got the Panhandle, right? And Tampa is only maybe, what's that, a 4-hour drive, 5-hour drive maybe, give or take, to the Panhandle from Tampa. So by the time I got out, remember, we never left the bus besides Cook County one time for about 4 hours. So they can only clean the bus, but they never dumped the bathroom. They never sucked the shit and piss out of the bathroom. Like Uncle Eddie on Christmas Vacation. The shit is full, pumping it into the sewer. They never cleaned out the toilet. I couldn't imagine to tell you how bad and smelly that bathroom was from all the women and all the men for 8 days straight. 30 people stuck on that bus in that bathroom. What that bathroom looked like from the beginning and when we finally got dropped off. Toilet paper everywhere with shit on the walls. Disgusting shit, man. Literally. So when I find me personally get out, so I'm saying, say goodbye to the last people and all that. You know what I mean? Hope you beat your case, whatever, shit like that. I don't know if I'm going to get bail or nothing. So I finally get out. They go into Sallyport of Hillsborough County Jail in Hillsborough County, Tampa. In Tampa, Florida, basically. If you get locked up in Tampa, Florida, you're going to Hillsborough County or Falkenberg Jail. I was at both of them. 2 years I was living there. I moved there so I could stay out of trouble, but I don't know. I guess I wasn't ready. I always was in trouble with the law somehow, some way, right? I was wild, I'll tell that more in part 2. But this is only about the U.S. prisoner transport of how they do people. So I finally get there. They let me out. Walk me through the booking. That's when they finally unhook us. There's only one other person from Hillsborough County that was wanted. That was the Mexican cat that I first got on. Weirdly. So he was like, adios, amigo, and all that. When he went to book and they unhooked him first. I'm like, look at him like, motherfuckers, if you don't unhook these fucking chains around my waist and all that, This was unnecessary. All we had to do is be handcuffed. Because each section, 4 sections, is caged off. So all they really need to do is, okay, the shackle around the feet, but the thing fully around the waist, they could have just handcuffed us in front. But I guess people could hug you and then strangle the head of the CO. But that black dude mostly came back there. The Cuban guys were ignorant. They were unlocking it, slamming the gates and shit like that. They were on a job too long and they needed to quit, man. They needed to retire or quit. So I'm getting there. I'm chafing. And when I finally get there and sit down to the booking chair, these hard blue plastic seats and booking, it looks like DMV, a DMV. You know what I mean? Your DMV in Florida or anywhere you go. Carpeting in the booking in Hillsborough County is way better than the jails in Delaware and shit like that, or the jails I've been to. It's one of the sweetest ones. The portions of the food ain't too good on the trays, but it's one of the best ones I've been to as far as the guards run it, but inmates don't run it. But as far as that, ain't too much stabbing, ain't too much violence. And it's sweet, you know. They got wooden desks in the cell. They, you know, and all. I mean, just big yards. You can play basketball. Shit, open 24 hours. Lockdowns at midnight, not at 11 like most jails. So as I'm sitting there, I'm still hearing the transmission to the truck going. 8 days I'm hearing this transmission to this damn piece of shit truck back here. Right? And it's just like this. This is the exact truck, bro. It doesn't say U.S. prisoner transport on it whatsoever. It only has a little magnet right here on the door that says U.S. prisoner transport and the bus number and shit like that. Yeah, that's all it has on each door. Obviously, when I found this picture, it don't have the magnet. But anyway, that's all it says. And those windows, those little tiny windows you see up there, they're tinted. So nobody can see in. But every time we go, like in Chicago on a freeway or in jails and all that, and see girls going to the visits, visiting their men, we would bang, and they would be like, hey, hey. They would hear us. They would hear us, but they can't see us. You know what I mean? So that's the only action we actually got with women. But so I'm still hearing this in my head. Transmission and the engine in my head just going like, you ever get an earache and it goes whoa, 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 your ear? That's what it sounds like. And for about a week and a half, I heard that shit in my ear, in my head. The sounds of the transmission shifting gears and the sound of the engine. And the bumps and all the noises, as if I lay my head down, my eyes like that was so nervous. I'm still withdrawing too. Like I finally went through the bad parts of the withdrawal when I got the booking in Tampa, Florida. But I was still hearing that, and I was the baddest part of the sickness went away, but I was very weak, and it turns out I lost 7 pounds in that 8 days. So that's damn near a pound a day. I lost drinking water and all that, and the first couple of days I gave my food away until I get my plain food. Oh my God, dude, I got to backtrack. So when we were in Tennessee, this is why I brought up the mixed dude, the CO, the guard, right? It was his shift. He drove. The Cubans played him. 2 other veterans, 2 fat guys, they slept in their thing. I guess what they do is they change the sheets. They have their own sheets and shit like that in their bag. And they don't sleep on the same sheets when they take shift change on the bus driving. So apparently he was having enough with this. I guess they were talking shit behind his back. He was only there a week. They were calling him greenhorn. He was like, yo, I ain't no greenhorn, bro. This guy was like 32, 33. You know what I mean? Had swag, street swag to him. Like he wasn't taking none of this shit. Yo. And after we heard an argument, everybody was looking at each other like, yo, something's going down, bro. I think bro was going to quit because he just mentioned to us like 2 hours before that. He said, fuck that job. And the driver turned around and went, huh? And he was like, nothing, man. I'm nothing, man. It was just like nothing. So the driver heard him, the 15-year veteran, and he's like the captain of everybody else that works under him, right? Because he got the most experience. He's training this guy, this black cat. And I swear to God, man. So we're driving. We went to a jail, picked up the last person to go to Florida, dumped another person off at Tennessee before we hit the Panhandle. Dude said, went up to him, and we just stopped on the freeway. And they was like, fuck is going on here? We thought something was wrong with the truck, right? Turns out, dude said, I'm done. He was like, I'm done. And the other was like, yo, Poppy, the first couple of weeks is hard. After the few first months, it's easy. He was like, nah, I can't be on the road like this, man. I can't be on the road 8 days straight like this. They told me I only be like 3 to 4 days straight on the road. And they were like, nah, Poppy, don't, you know what I mean? You're doing good. And all that, try to talk him out of it because they didn't want to be short a man. Now we're down. And then he went through the gates, unlocked all the gates, said, y'all, he purposely gave us pounds, said, y'all have good, he said, I hope all you guys the best luck fighting your cases and shit like that. And he talked like a street dude. I mean, you know what I mean? Like from New York, originally from New York, he said, but he lived in the Boston area. And he was like, I got a broad that lives about 15 miles from here. So he was probably plotting it the whole time to get dropped off. You know what I mean? He probably had it in the mind by the 4th day when he started getting the attitude and shit towards them. And, but he was still showing us respect. You know what I mean? That's when we realized, this dude ain't going to make it on his job. But we didn't think he would quit while he's on transit doing his job with us. We thought he might quit a couple months or hang in a month or a couple more weeks or something, but he quit on the spot. So he was like, yo, I'm out of here. And they were salty as shit. He pulled over real quick, and they dropped him off at a highway marker. And he said, yeah, I got a woman that'll be here, one of my ladies. He said, I was like, damn, you got ladies? You got ladies all over the state. He said, man, I got women all the states we just went to. I know at least one woman in every state we just went through picking up and dropping off inmates. I was like, word? He's like, yeah. Me and him got tight, right? So he was like, I was the last one he pounded, me and Daryl. And he was like, y'all have good luck with your course, man. You know what I mean? This shit ain't for me. This shit's for the birds. I can't be doing this shit no more. And I was like, all right. So we dropped the other guard off. We went on, continued to the Panhandle. So now I'm in jail waiting. I'm still feeling this for a whole week. I'm back to a pod. Hillsborough County gets you back to a pod from booking, get you in and out in 2 hours. You're back to a pod, finally to a cell. We were begging them, and every third day, take us to any damn jail. We'll go to any jail. We don't give a fuck if it's violent. We don't care if the COs are dicks. We don't care. We just want a bed to lay in. We're sitting up. You're sitting up real proper the whole time, just like this, with the box around your wrist, chain around your waist, shackled feet. We were begging for a cell, begging to go to any of one of those jails, to at least spend the night. We were begging them. And these motherfuckers, right when we get to the Panhandle, reverse again, I'm getting better at telling stories, but I still got to backtrack. Forgot, because so much dirty shit they did. They ate on our food that they're supposed to feed us with at Lone Star Steakhouse, whatever fuck steakhouse it was. They went to Orange County Chopper like it was their fucking, like they were on vacation, like they were on some tourist shit. They had a job to do, and they were using our money for the funds to do it. And we were suffering bad. And every time we tell them to use the bathroom, they would fuck with us and not make us wait an hour, 2 hours sometimes. The shortest they ever did was like 45 minutes before they pulled over and let us use the bathroom. And people had to shit and piss. So we had to piss in the water bottles. So at nighttime, you'd be sitting there and you get wet. And if they do sharp turns or whatever like that, or even not even sharp turns, because the floor would vibrate. It's a big truck, right? So the floor is vibrating. It's got a rubber floor, and all the piss bottles will be rolling back and forth like that of other people's piss. You try to keep your piss bottle separate, right? All your piss bottles, I had about 5, 6 by that time, right? And they say just dump them in the toilet next time toilet break. So I had one empty one, but other people's empties were flying around. So you didn't know whose empty piss bottle it was. Spring water, empty water bottle that we pissed in. We didn't know whose it was. So you had to do what you had to do, because we knew they weren't going to pull over. We said, yo, we got to use the bathroom. They could have easily pulled over immediately. Like, at least give us at least 15 minutes, wait 20 minutes. But they waited an hour, hour and a half on purpose. And this is why I think that guy quit too, because of the mistreatment that he's seen these 3 veterans, that at least the 2 veterans, the 15-year guy, the 10 to 12-year guy, and that 5-year guy. And they were all close because they were Spanish and were talking to each other, and he couldn't understand them. So he probably felt ostracized from that shit. You know what I mean? So he said, fuck it, I'm quitting. I ain't working with these guys, because he had to work with these guys. You know what I mean? And we were like, you couldn't put a transfer in? It was like, I'm stuck with this fucking truck, man. With these clowns. He called them clowns. So these piss bottles were rolling back and forth. It was hell, man. The bathrooms all full of shit on the walls, everything. It was chaotic. 8 days of punishment. Everybody was like, man, I swear to God, I'm suing the shit out of these people. I was like that. Of course, you know, when in reality comes, when you get to jail and all that noise from the engine, at least I know they all had to have that shit to feed. Well, some people only stayed on there for 24 hours, 48 hours, 3-4 days. I was on there the whole fucking 8 days, because they started with me, Daryl, and the Mexican dude were on there the whole fucking 8 days. And we were in the back. So we were the unfortunate ones. Everybody else, the longest they stayed was maybe 5, because they were being dropped off. They had states right next to each other that they had governor's warrants for. So my state, Maryland, Elkton, Maryland, Florida, fuck, what's that? That's 1,200 miles. You know what I mean? That's even if you got a car, the fastest I drove was 9 hours, 18 and a half, 19 hours in a Hyundai Elantra back then with my baby's mom. So that's basically much it. So when I get to all that shit that I went through on this bus. Now, how Hillsborough County Jail works, the jail I got dropped off at, this is how their bail system works. I was like, yo, once I got back to a pod and everything, they give me my uniforms with all the clothes and all that shit, right? Orange. That's why I'm wearing orange, because we were in orange jumpsuits too the whole time. So your private parts couldn't breathe. Nothing was breathing, bro. That's why we had these rashes between our asses. We had rashes between our crotch areas, under our crotch, everywhere where moisture, where no air gets to, was rash. Even the t-shirt around here, we had rashes, like we were choked. If we did have lawsuits, we would have won them shits. I don't know. It was against U.S. government, probably not. Because they'd be packing people 3 in a cell where it's only supposed to be designed for 2 in a cell. In my state of Delaware, that's state, but they never won a lawsuit yet. I've never heard of one person. I know a lot of people went to jail. I know more people in jail than free right now, or that had passed away from drug use. Another thing we talk about on this channel. But anyway, I said, when do I get a video bail? Once I got back to the pod, they were like, yo, your bail is already in the computer. They had a kiosk. So I typed in my inmate number, going through it. You know what I mean? They said, yeah, just put your inmate number in there, your SBI, whatever, and they'll tell your bail. So I already had a pre-bail. A judge already sent me a bail. Guess how much a bail was? You motherfuckers ain't going to believe this shit. $2,000 secure bail. I said, good Lord, please don't let me flip out on this shit. They did this for $2,000 secure bail. I thought my bail was going to be $200,000. It's governor's. I thought it was big time shit. Governor's warrant. First time I ever got governor's warrant. And on a U.S. prisoner transport bus, went through hell for 8 days, chafing, withdrawing, starving, forcing them to feed us different food, pissing in water bottles. Can't even shit. The last 2 days we couldn't even use the bathroom to shit because the shit was clogged up almost to the toilet seat. People were still shitting, but when it finally got to the toilet seat, they wouldn't let us shit no more in there. Then people they said, oh, I got to pee, and they finally started shitting on the floor. Yeah, and then they ran out of toilet paper. They had to go to the grocery store. It was totally, totally fucked up and totally not proper the way they were doing the shit. And that's why that mixed black dude quit on the fucking spot, right? Heading back to one of his shorties. Shout out to him. But on some serious shit, I'm like, so I called my baby's mom up. I said, you ain't gonna believe this. Dana says, what? I said, I went through all this. She was like, oh my God. First of all, she was surprised to hear me. She said, oh my God, they don't let you use a phone or nothing? I said, nothing. She was like, how do I know if you were dead or alive? I said, exactly. Well, there's fucking 29 other people on this bus with me. And they were like, yeah, they could just like kill you and put you in a concentration camp. Who knows? I haven't heard nothing from you. Oh my God, baby, I'm so glad you're okay. And all that. I said, I'm really not okay. I'm chafing everywhere. I'm hearing truck sounds in my head. I said, but the good news is it's only $2,000 secure. 10% in Florida. Most states is 10% bail bonds. I said, Western Union, luckily my parents, see, we had moved back to Elkton. That's why they got the governor's warrant. But my parents were still there. My step pop, my mom, and my little brother still lived there. I said, Western Union and my mom, the jail was only 15 miles away from their house. I said, Western Union, $200 to my mom's. My mom's did that. The next day, because it was already late, it was like fucking 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Bail bond shit was closed. There were no 24 hours in Florida, or I couldn't find one to do it that late. And so she bailed me out. My step-pop mom came pick me up. Went to the convenience store. I ate one of them convenience store subs, cheap shit, whatever I had to eat, get something in me. And then she got me well. My mom was prescribed meds, for her back and shit like that. And so I was still very, very, not very sick, but still withdrawing, sort of hot flash and all that. I said, man, I need to get well. I got all my shit at the house. I still had buckets of shit. I still had a lot of shit that I didn't sell. And my girl was getting her own shit too. Doctor shopping like crazy. 3 doctors a month. That was my full-time job. I was probably making about $3,000 to $4,000 a week. If I had not done what I do with 3 different doctors, to each doctor, the different pharmacy, or they had the United States prescription database, so you could doctor shop. So I would take one full state limit of all these painkillers and Xanax from Maryland, New Jersey, and Delaware. So I would keep one from the doctor for myself personally to do, and I would sell the other 2 full state limits. I'm talking buckets this big, like literally like a foot and a tall, big, like the size of a big ass, like a mayonnaise jar, full of methadone pills, the biscuits, the 40 milligram biscuits, and they went to 10 milligram, 360 of the 30s, and all kinds of painkiller. I'm here to glorify the shit, but I'm just saying what I was withdrawing and coming off of, so you guys could feel that even pharmaceutical withdrawal, getting sick off of that is worse than getting off of street dope, off of dope and fentanyl, because that's pure. It's synthetic. It's synthetic opiates is worse than, because the other shit got cut in it and it's not pure and all that, and you get way more sicker off of pharmaceuticals than you do anything. And the benzos was no joke. I was, you get that little twitch, that nervous twitch and shit to you, from the sounds of the engine or whatever, cars beeping, flying by it, because it's 24/7 at night. Nobody could really sleep. Anybody, you would power sleep. You would just get like a power nap, like 45 minutes, if you're lucky, the longest, and 15 minutes sleep, but shit like that. So they went to pick me up. I got well. I stayed a week to stay with my mom and my parents, to just hang out with them, shit like that. I had my baby's mom mail me all my shit to get me well, if you know what I mean. Without, this is 2008, so it's all good now. But mailed they were legal. Everything had my name on it. Even though I was doctor shopping, it all had my name on it. So, and that was the same shit that what caused me to get a governor's warrant to go get sent back to Florida were pain pills for selling it, and I was doing it too. But I went a whole year hustling, not selling them, and then I was like, man, let me try a couple of these things. You know what I mean? The people I look at, they ain't real skinny and crackhead out. They work, they're functional. Like, how bad could it be? That's how I got hooked. But anyway, and I had a little fucked up back for like 2 weeks. I use that as an excuse. I know it was a nerve pain that could have went away naturally, so that's how I got hooked. But that's another story. When I tell my story, part 2 will be coming up in a day or two. But anyway, so I stayed there with my parents for a week. Didn't see them in about 2 years since we moved. They stayed there all the way until 2014 when they moved, and they're in Delaware, where I live at now. I reside in Delaware. So my stepfather passed away, unfortunately. God bless the dead, at 56, and they say rheumatoid arthritis, but it's funny. He passed away December 2nd, 2019, and they say coronavirus hit the country around a couple months before that, like October, November. Yeah, so it might have been that, because it was a lung problem. They had him hooked to a respirator. 2 days before he went to the hospital, he was fine. Driving a tractor, smoking cigarettes. Smoked cigarettes for like 40 years. Didn't even affect him. Dad had no problem with that. He said, from the prednisone, from rheumatoid arthritis, his hands were like real bad, like claws and stuff. God bless him, you know what I mean? But so spent time with them. Got paid overnight. I think it was like $29.99 to overnight all my pills to Florida, to my mom's crib. Shitload of them. And teddy bears and stuffed animals. Yeah, and boxes. Had to do it professionally. Because I don't think you were allowed to do that, but maybe we were allowed to do that because it was legal. Probably were allowed to do that. It was legal to send your legal medicine through the mail. Just as long as somebody don't open it, they'll steal shit. But so I caught a plane back. Then the plane was JetBlue. It cost me, I think, $129.99 for one way to Baltimore Airport, and that was pretty much it. And so I had court date. I still had court dates, right? Because that was only the booking process. They just got me to Florida and went me through all this shit for 8 days just to get me to Florida, and I bailed out. So you still got court dates. So I after my first court date in the mail for arraignment, I called. I went through the phone book. Literally, just went through the phone book. Went down there. I said, Jose Gonzalez, I believe his name was, something like that, Spanish guy, because they're all, Cuban, Spanish. They got a lot of ties to the courts. The judges are Spanish, all that. So I called him up. I said, hey, I got this. He looked me up in the computer, typed me up. It was like $500. I get it dropped. I was like, word, $500 will go away? $500 will go away. And I'm going to bring up what happened during this U.S. prisoner transport bus. Did you take pictures? I said, I had the jail take pictures. I forced them to take pictures of the treatment because the jail wasn't tied to the U.S. prisoner transport. They were government workers. The state, I had booking right there. I said, yo, you got to take me behind the sheet in this room here. When they, bend down and cough, I said, you got to lift your sack and all that for the women. Sorry for that. Try to be gentlemen. But I had them take all the pictures of all my chafing, all the rashes, and I said, I guarantee all the other 29 on that bus, well, not all of them, the ones that stayed the whole 8 days or at least 6 days, have the same markings on them. And the prison was, and the jail was like, damn. They were like kind of on my side. They were like, man. And I couldn't walk. I had to walk wide because if I walked normal, it would rub. My legs would rub and it would hurt really bad. It felt like raw lunch meat down there. It looked like raw lunch meat, like London broil, red, real good, expensive, like $12.99 a pound type lunch meat shit. It looked like red lunch meat in between your legs, man. You know what I'm saying? Everything was red. Down to the ass crack was red. Couldn't even wipe. I had to pat my ass. Well, I had to do that too because I was sick on the bus, but dog, it was bad. So he got it dropped. The lawyer got it dropped for me. He couldn't do nothing. He asked me, I want to put a lawsuit against it. He said that it's cost about $5,000 to sue the government and all that. I was like, I had the money. I had about $15,000 in the bank. And I should have had more because, like I said, if I didn't do this shit, I would have got out. And then I called another charge later on, but that'd be in the story too. But I should have got out of jail when I finally got caught, knocked. 2 more years, or 2011, I should have had $200,000 in the bank. If I didn't do one pill, I'd have got out of jail, bought a house, car, truck, all that shit. But that's what you do when you use. You know what I mean? When you're around something, and if it's your drug of choice, you can't hustle something that is your drug of choice. You know what I mean? I prefer you not to hustle anyway. We got fucking cell phones, we got satellites, we got shit that the old days are over for hustlers. You know what I mean? Hustle a legal way. There's so many ways to legally hustle. You don't need to sell drugs. You don't need to go rob people. You don't need to scam people, fraud, all these scams and shit going on. You know, all that. You don't have to do that shit. So basically, that was the end of the story. So he called me up, my lawyer, the Spanish lawyer, and called me up and he said, it's done. A month later, when I had another court date mail in, I was like, dang, he should be calling me by now, right, about this court date. He called me up. All he said was, it's done. I sent him $500 through my debit card, through my real bank, Wachovia back then, Wachovia Banks, remember them? Sent $500 to him once he said it on a month before then when I detained him. He just said, it's done. I said, yo, if I ever come back to Florida again, which it'll only be for a vacation, a couple days, Miami, the Keys. And I lived in Florida for 2 years. I never went to the Keys or Miami or none of that vacation shit because I was busy getting my grind on, making scripts and all that shit. So I've missed the beautiful shit, all the beautiful scenery in Florida while I lived there for that 2 years. I had plenty of chance. It's only 3-hour drive or 3.5-hour drive from Tampa to Miami, give or take. So I never really got the chance to enjoy that, and I'm upset about that. But now, you know, I'm kind of good now on that front, so I can take a vacation any day I want. But I feel like doing this because this has a lot of meaning to me. I got so many stories, man. I got so many stories, just like my boy Kenny. I'll be dropping part 5 on him when he calls me. He called me the other day, but he called me like at late night, like 9 o'clock and stuff, and I was communicating with my son, getting ready with him, going back to school and all that. Got new clothes for back to school, and he's feeling it. He's excited to go back to school. So, and I was sick as a dog too. If my bad, I know it says 6 or 7 days the last video was uploaded. My bad. That's my fault. I was feeling sick. I got tested for the Rona on the 3rd day. I was feeling sick. I had a fever like 1.3.2 for the first day and a half. You could hear my videos on my story and a couple interviews with Kenny where my voice was hoarse and getting worse and breaking up and stuff. Like my voice sounded different than it does now. So I'm still coughing. I still got a little something here. But that's the reason I couldn't upload. I just felt too terrible, man. I had dark circles around my eyes. I ain't going to be coming up here looking like no raccoon. Nose running and coughing and sneezing and shit. But the Rona test was negative. It was just made me the flu, which I don't want to go into that. I could leave little hints. What happened to the FLU? Did it just fly away? We don't talk about that no more. That's another story. we'll get into other reasons why, the media, which does tie. It's all one evil thing, man. Prison industrial complex, the media, they play it. They make people look more bad than it is. Even with these old mafia guys. One guy killed 30 men. They come on YouTube now if they didn't get killed, or when they get released out of jail from the 1980s lockup or 1970s lockup, when they're in their 70s and 80s right now. They're like, nah, they exaggerate. They only killed like 8. But still, you know what I mean? Like, that's their jobs, to separate us as people. And the prison industrial complex, just like the military industrial complex, that's to separate the world and countries and have power. Some of it could be for our safety. Most of it ain't. Most of it's just to bomb other countries. Another story. I can keep going on, but I got so many stories about my life. So many stories like this that I could talk about, and I'm going to talk about. It doesn't have to be a video where I put my life and my story. When I put on that video my life part 1, that's just from my childhood to my first time locked up, like the processes. And then I make this of separate episodes of my life that were just crazy, man. And it's craziest shit that I did or been through, or the inhumane shit that I went through in jails, and especially this fucking thing right here. Every 18-wheeler should see these, man. I ain't gonna say nothing. Well, them without no inmates on it. Hope a tire pops and that slides right off the road into a tree. I'm telling you, they're evil, man. The people on that, at least the people I did, would love this for people to begging. They loved us to beg. Please stop. Let us use the bathroom. Please. Can we use the fucking bathroom? Can we please eat something other than McDonald's? Oh, and with the thing about the Taco Bell, the cheesy burritos, everybody got 2 each. So in the morning, it'd be still McDonald's. Lunch would be cheesy burritos. Dinner would be cheesy burritos, right? They never did the Burger King thing, like I said, like that, right? After 5 hours, I remember I just said after 5 hours, change it just because I got to get used to talking and interviewing, because I got ADHD, so I'm fast talking. I'm not ashamed to say whatever the fuck I got. So 5 hours later, it was like fucking 51 degrees in April. I don't know. Like it was, I told you, it was from the 11th to the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10, 11. Yeah, I got, counting my fingers still. So that was 8 days from the 3rd to the 11th. And after 5 hours of eating these cheesy burritos, because we were all used to eating McDonald's, plain, double cheeseburgers, I was eating by the 3rd day, I was starting to eat and hold food down. Everybody started getting the shits, diarrhea. Everybody was like, damn, man, now we're all got the shits, man. Fuck you, South Carolina. Fuck you, Petey, man. But they were like on some clowning, joke shit. I was like, man, you motherfuckers wanted to change, didn't you? I was like, I put my life on, I put my, my voice on the line for this shit. They could have maced me. They had a cattle rod, they had mace, and they had those one little extended sticks, that they're about, they're about 2 feet long, 1.5 foot long, and you go like this, and it extends out, and it has a big ass metal marble on the end of it. And they whip you with that bitch. So I took all the chances to get us a different menu. So, and they were like, man, fuck yeah. I was like, you motherfuckers wanted to change into eating different food, right? Don't blame me because your body can't hold down fucking burritos. I'm coming off of pills and shit. You motherfuckers ain't even coming off anything. And a couple of women turned around and were like, I didn't mind it. The women were like, yeah, thank you. What is it? I said, Petey. Thank you, Petey. Some of them, there weren't beauty queens, but, there was a couple good looking ones on there. Thank you, Petey. And I gave my number to one of them, of course. And then we exchanged number, but that's no good. I thought about that because me and my baby mom were, we were fully in love, but they gave me my number and I just trashed it because I was like, Now, I gave him some bogus number because I never cheated in any relationship I've been with. Not my baby's mom, not the girlfriend before her. I've been in 4 relationships. I never cheated on one of them. I don't believe in that. I'm too real for that. I keep telling you motherfuckers, I'm real, man. Just cut from a different cloth. And all my friends that'll be on here, friends or not, people throughout the United States that's incarcerated, in jail or outside of jail or on probation, parole, or drug users are real people. I'm not going to have no phonies on here. There ain't going to be no, you know what I mean? No kidding around on this shit. So that was basically my thing. I got the charge dropped for the 8 days of hell I went through. $2,000 bail, which is $200. All that for $200 being on this damn bus for 8 days. And hearing crazy shit, like I was still on the bus for a week and a half, about damn near like 10 days in my bunk alone too. I was asked to Sally, can I get at least 5-6 hours all day? I'm sleep the first 3 days, man. It was like, yeah. He's like, damn. I told him what went on. He was like, damn, yeah, you went through hell, man. Even or not, I'm going to get rest, even if he didn't agree or not. Fuck you, I'd have thrown him out the cell. I was that type, you know what I mean? Back then, I weighed 225. I was solid. You know what I'm saying? Still got a little something, but I wasn't like I was then. And I would have took his ass out that cell and owned that cell because I wanted peace. But I kept hearing that engine and cars go like down the highway. Imagine hearing that. So I thought I was going fucking crazy, man. They were like, you want medicine for that? I say, fuck no. I was like, give me something to relax. And I think they gave me some sleeping pills or some shit, but I don't be taking no pills in jail. None of that shit. Weird, psychotic shit they be having you with Thorazine shuffle. I don't be on that type time. But anyway, that's the story of the U.S. prisoner transport bus. They had 3. They had one based in South Central LA, around that area, they told me. They had one based in Miami, and they had one based in New York City. They had 3 at the time. I'm sure they got many more now. That crime has been up since 2008. You know what I mean? With the opiate epidemic and all kinds of epidemics. Sure, the crime went up and they got way more of these people. And there's people right now. If you ever see one of these buses, honk the horn, try to show some love, wave or something. If you're women or even dudes, like, keep your head up, whatever, you got to shout out, because people right here on these buses is going through some shit, bro. They only got these little ass windows right here to look at, right there. And they're tinted, so you can't even see them. They can see you, though. They're not bars on it. It's just thick ass plexiglass that you can't break. But that's my story, man, about that bus trip. Extradited from Elkton, Maryland to Tampa, Florida. From CCDC jail to Hillsborough County Jail in Tampa, Florida. I hope you enjoyed this story. This is Petey Rax, and this is Life After Lockdown. I hope everyone enjoyed the story, and please share, like, subscribe. It helps me out to get to the masses more, because people like to hear stories like this. People like to see action and people change, you know what I mean, in the prison system. So I please ask you to subscribe, share, and like. That's it. If you want to be on the show, leave your email. My email is PETEY, S as in Sam, IEKIERDA @gmail.com. Email me. We can go live on StreamYard, which is attached to YouTube right now. We can do audio interviews if you're video shy. If you're a family member, loved one, baby dad, son, father, mother, brother locked up, come on the show, family members. If you're a current drug user, or past drug user. Did I say double name? If you use drugs still, everybody's welcome because it's all related to each other. Jail, drugs, bad childhoods, everything is tied in to one unit. So say prayers, everybody out there going through inhumane treatments in prison. Again, this is Petey. I hope you enjoyed the story on Life After Lockdown. Peace out, y'all.